I want to share a very personal story, one that was a major factor in my political journey. A few years ago now, I wanted to remortgage the house to carry out a few essential repairs, nothing particularly outstanding. It wasn't something that was very urgent, but it was one of these little things that if you don't get it done now, it'll only get worse later on, so you might as well bite the bullet and pay up now. So I didn't have enough money to do that, so I went to the bank that I had the mortgage with. I won't embarrass them by giving you their name, but I've been banking with them for decades, ever since I was a little boy. And I went in, I remember very clearly, I went into this little room, this little side room in the bank, with just a table, telephone, this guy, big sheet of papers, and me. And I explained the situation to him, and he nodded. He said, yeah, that's a perfectly valid reason to borrow some money on a mortgage. And he checked my equity, plenty. He checked I had a good job. He checked the mortgage records. I've been paying for several years, no defaults, plenty of capacity, good job, easy enough money to cover it all. Everything went through. It tick, tick, tick. Take about 15, 20 minutes, this did. And then I always remember, right at the very end, after going through all this and saying everything was wonderful, he picked up a phone on the desk, phoned somebody in London who said no. Simple as that, no. So I said, well, what's the problem? We've gone through all this and everything seems hunky-dory. He said, well, you're not really borrowing enough to make it worth our while. And I said, well, I don't want to borrow more. I mean, I couldn't afford the repayments on it and it wouldn't be very good. And he said, well, that's unfortunately how we work it. I said, well, I thought you're a bank, aren't you in favour of saving money? But he was immovable. The strange thing is, I then went round the entire town to every single bank, and I got exactly the same thing happen every single time. Even to the big local bank, the one that is for the area, same thing happened. Eventually I found a bank that were just trying to break into the business and were therefore willing to take a risk on giving money to somebody who would definitely pay them back. But anyway, so it all worked out fine in the end. But that stayed with me from the time I first began to realise just exactly one of the major problems in this country, and that is quite simply that there is far too much power concentrated in London. Way too much. Now, London is the largest and it's the richest and it's the most populous city in the kingdom, so obviously it's very important. I've no problems with that whatsoever. What I do have a problem with is the way this has become all-powerful now. There used to be a time, not so long ago, when every town in this country would have a town bank. People who were local to the area, grew up in the area, knew its problems, knew its situation, and could make their loans and financial decisions accordingly. Now it's all controlled centrally because we've got these computer things that enable you to do that. There again, that is causing London to become more and more and more powerful. It's the capital, it's the seat of government. Parliament is there, the Queen's premier residence is there, the civil service is based in London, most foreign embassies are there, and now of course they have their own mayor, a politician specifically able to represent their views and values. And it's not just political power, it's economic power. The stock exchange is based in London. All major companies are based in London. In fact, a company that isn't in London is not taken seriously by our financial institutions. Most unions are based in London. Even most charities are based in London, or at least they all have a London office. It even extends down to culture. Most British cities have a major theatre. London has 26? Most of the big record labels are based in London. Film production is based in London. Films all open in London. Most foreign tourists only go to London. And all this is promoting a serious division. It's promoting an us and them type mentality. It's not even very good for London, as anybody who's tried to buy or rent property in there will be able to tell you. There is an old joke when the Scottish independence referendum was being run, which said, "Dear Scotland, if you become independent, can we come with you, sign the North of England?" Okay, it's a joke, but like all good jokes, there's a kernel of truth in there that needs to be recognised. It's a problem, and I don't know how we solve it. I mean, Londoners are hardly going to give up their prosperity and power, are they? And the North doesn't really have much chance of taking over, despite all this talk of a northern powerhouse. I don't think it's going to happen.